Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Srinivas.
Hi, Harita. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing? At a long
Yeah,
time.
doing good. Yeah.
Sorry, yesterday I could not make it. So,
Oh, that's okay. No, even today also I checked my Skype mail, so I didn't got any message. So I thought
okay.
I reached back to the hometown.
Okay. I think you started the recording.
Mm.
All right. You haven't started.
Yeah.
Started.
Yeah, it's started, right?
Let me check. No, it's not started.
Alt.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay. So it's not showing here. In case if it doesn't work,
Actually,
I'll
something
upload.
has got stuck in my laptop.
Okay. In case if it doesn't work, then I'll share it for today.
That's okay, but I think I can't even see your screen also. Why? Because
Oh.
it just got stuck. That's why the
Oh.
reason.
I already shared, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not able to see just.
Okay. Like, you want me to
Mm,
disconnect and log in once
I,
again?
yeah, it's better, I think.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm able to see that now.
Oh, you're able to see. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now it's okay.
Eclipse is open, right?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the topics we discussed in the last class.
Yes, HTML.
Do you have doubt on any of the topic?
No, it's
The
right.
prior topics since beginning.
Mm.
Clear, right? I think.
No, clear. Mm.
I'll start. Till now we have done everything in the standalone project, right? This is a
Mm.
standalone project. If you remember, we have
Mm.
created file new,
Mm.
and this is the project we have used. This is the project we have created. The
Okay.
option which I'm showing. Okay.
Mm.
So which can only perform for the standalone kind of applications.
Standalone applications. Okay.
Standalone kind of application. Now we will
Mm.
be moving further with the web-based applications. So
Okay.
in order to work with web applications, we need to create a web project, dynamic web project. File,
Mm.
new, so there is an option called dynamic web project. You can give any name, so I'll just give the hello web. Right?
Okay.
You can leave the options as it is,
Mm.
and just check this option, because so if you check this option, this is the file which is going to be created. If you check this option, so this is the
Mm.
file which is going to be created in your folder, in your project, the project which
Mm.
you are creating. So
Mm.
we'll be using that file later time. So instead of we creating manually, we are asking the Eclipse to create itself. Okay, just check this option. So rest everything, just we leave it as it is.
Okay.
Only this option.
Mm.
So if you look at the regular project, let me explain. So it has only SRC folder, if you remember. SRC, and these are the two things were there at the time of
Mm.
creating. So all this
Yeah.
is just automatically created by us, like for various samples, right?
Yeah.
The structure is like only src folder it was having, and this the
GRS libraries.
difference. But if you expand the web project, its structure is different completely.
Okay.
This is Java source folder under src. In this src folder, you are going to write all the Java files.
Okay.
Okay, any Java files, any file which you are extending with Java, so you need to place all those things under this, and by creating packages as usual. Apart from Java file, if you are dealing with suppose HTML or JavaScript or CSS, images, or anything, those kind of things has to be placed under web content folder.
Okay.
Okay, just only thing is that because it's a web project, they have given a various classification that these files has to be placed in so-and-so folder. The reason is, so these are the dedicated folders. If you place the respective files in those locations, it will pick as part of execution. Otherwise, it may not pick, though it will be there in your project.
Okay, so we need to place it in that web content only.
Exactly, yeah. HTML files and JSP files and images, anything that we are going to use all those things. Java files you are going to place in src, and the remaining files you are going to place in this one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have checked an option to create web.xml, right? So that is the file which is created under this. So if we are not checking, this file will not be created. That we need to create manually. So we just used existing option. The reason is, if you look at that, it is already having some default template. So we'll just use the same template. Okay.
Okay.
We'll look into it later. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just look clear, right? Java files in this folder.
Yes. Yes.
Apart from Java files, any other stuff which is related to web that you are going to place in web content. Under web content, you can create any folder. Suppose you are dealing with images, I can create images. I can create JS folder, any folder you can create, but all should be under web content. Okay. Yeah. In order to work with the project is created, right? It's a dynamic project.
Yeah.
So in order to work with the project, the web project, you need to have the server in your system. If you have any server which is already available in your local machine, you can use that server. Otherwise, you can download the Tomcat server, which is freely available.
Okay.
I'll show you the URL. Directly go to this. Just bring you that link. And go to the Tomcat website. It is from Apache. So right now, the latest version is version 9. Then from it depends on your this one, you can download the appropriate version binary distribution. So there I have downloaded version 8. So now you can, the latest version is version 9, right? Just download that one under the zip. Yeah, this one. Okay. If you click on zip, it's going to download a zip file, which is a Tomcat structure completely. So it's something like you'll be getting something like zip file like this. Okay.
Okay.
Extract this zip file and you can place it anywhere in your local machine. Usual location is we place it in the program files, right? I'll show you how it looks like after extracting. See. This is the folder. The Apache Tomcat 8.3. So once you extract the zip file, it's going to have something like this structure inside. Okay, so for you, like, because you are downloading 9, you might be having something 9 dot something.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the server we need to have, and we are going to configure this server in Eclipse. Okay, so once you configure, so we can also do the manually with the command prompt, but if you configure with an Eclipse, so from Eclipse you can start the server, you can stop the server. You'll be having fully control in your Eclipse environment. Okay.
Mm.
So till now we are seeing the output only the console, right? We're
Mm.
only this tab.
Okay.
So whenever we are writing Java, we are running we are seeing output in this section, right?
Mm.
Any Java files. You remember? Whenever
I
we
didn't
are
get.
writing, whenever we are writing a Java file,
Okay.
we are running, right? We are executing and we are seeing output here, right?
Yeah, in the console. Yeah, we are
Console
seeing that.
window. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Mm.
now we need to switch to the servers.
Okay, from console to we need to
Yeah.
servers.
So
Okay.
in order to configure a server in your local machine to your Eclipse.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Click on the server. So if you have some servers already configured, it will list here. So for us, there are no servers available. So it's empty.
Okay.
Click on this link to add a
Mm.
server. So Tomcat comes under Apache. So navigate to tab Apache,
Mm.
whichever is the latest. So for you, like 9, right? If Eclipse is also the latest one, you'll get 9. Otherwise, 8 also you can choose. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Just if you want to change the name, just display name you can change. Otherwise, you can leave it as this. So it only asks for the installation directory where you have kept the Tomcat. So wherever you have placed in your local machine, that path you have to tell here.
Okay.
Because Eclipse doesn't know, right, where you have kept the software.
Yeah. In program files.
So for me, in the program files, usual location is program files. So that's where I have used the same thing.
Okay. Mm. Mm.
So I just clicked on next, right? When I click on next, so there is 2 boxes, left side and right side.
Mm.
Left side box indicates that the projects which are eligible for deployment for deployment into the server, it is listing. See, the Hello Web is the project, right?
Mm.
The project which I have created.
Yeah.
So though actually we have 2 projects, Hello project and the Hello Web
And
project.
Hello Web.
But it was listing only web project, Hello Web only, because
Yep.
it is eligible to map it deployment to the server.
Okay, only that project is eligible to.
It's a web project, right? It's a different project.
Okay.
In order to work with the server, we need web project. So web project we are going to deploy. Normal project we cannot deploy.
Okay.
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 So it is showing that there is one web project. If you want to deploy it to the server, it's asking here. In case if you want to deploy it to the server, at the time of starting the server, it automatically picks. What you can do, to the server, just click on it. This is configured to the server now, this project. So whenever you start the server now, this project automatically starts out. Okay. Left side window is just to show you that what are the projects which are not mapped to the server, which are eligible for the deployment.
Okay, so once we add that,
so it is configured to server.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. You do not want, you can remove it. You can also do it later.
Okay.
You can do it at any point. So now your server is mapped with your project. Okay. The difference between the project, regular project and the project is like you have seen the difference, right?
Yeah.
The regular project is like it's having a different structure, SRC folder only. Within that SRC only, you have to do everything. So if you remember, even HTML, JavaScript, everything we were doing.
We are yes,
we were doing
in a
under
source
the
file only.
We were doing here, and we are how we are executing. I used to get the complete path. So, right?
Yes.
I used to get the complete path, and I used to execute that, right? But with the web project, we are not going to do that because it's a complete structure is different. So we are going to access the files in a different way with the server URL, the browser.
Okay.
But there we are not going to mention that C driver, D driver, and the complete path because the files are located in here. Whenever I access from the URL, it checks for the files under this folder. So that's where we are going to keep all the required files in this structure. Okay, we'll be seeing with an example anyway. So that's about the basic things. So just configuring a server and the difference between the web project and the dynamic project.
Okay.
The project and the web project. So web project is also called a dynamic project. dynamic web. Just another
Okay.
Clear?
Clear.
HTTP. So HTTP is nothing but hypertext transfer protocol. So in order to access from, so you might have accessing many websites, right? So many websites, whenever you access it, either you type www. So by default,
Alright.
you're getting HTTP, or otherwise, we can also just give an URL http:// the website name, right?
Yeah.
So it is the protocol using which we are going to access that particular website. Basically, it allows web servers and the browsers to exchange the data over the web.
Okay, it allows. Okay.
So whenever you say HTTP, what exactly it does? It allows your web server and the browser to exchange the data over the web. That means you are sitting somewhere and in your personal computer you are doing something. You are just giving a request to some website which is there hosted in some running some other country. So how is the communication happening? Because HTTP is having a mechanism to communicate from your browser to that particular server.
Okay.
Got it? It's a request response protocol. It is a stateless, means each request is considered as a new request. It has various kind of methods. So whenever you submit a request to server, we can submit in a different way. You might remember like under this section, get and post. You remember when we are working with HTML, method equal to get and method equal to post. Yeah, see it, right? The difference in the browser URL. Same thing we'll be seeing here.
Okay.
The most common used methods are method equal to get and method equal to post. When method equal to get, as we already know, right? So what happens? All the parameters that we are sending from my browser to the server will be shown on the browser URL, right? When the method equal to post, still the parameters are going to be sent to server, but here the parameters are not exposed on the browser URL because there is some, when we go for the get and when we go for post, get can be used for in general ways. The post is for the kind of security. For example, if you are authenticating, if you are typing username and password, the password should not be exposed on the browser URL, right?
Okay. Yes.
So these kind of things we go for the post because the person sitting next to us, like if we are able to see the password, then we'll be losing our credentials, right?
Yeah.
So for any kind of information which you feel secure, so we'll be passing them as a post, so that it will not be like not only person sitting next to you, even hackers also there is a possibility, right? If you throw the post, there is no chance of losing, like hacking that kind of information by any chance.
Okay.
May treat the same points with the get and post. In case of a get request, only the limited amount of data can be sent because data has to be sent inside a header.
Okay, only limited data.
So far, like we have only seen the differences security perspective, right?
Yes.
The other differences are if it is get, so only limited amount of data you can send. You cannot send the huge amount of data. Whereas with a post, you can send large amount of data. Because it is sent because in the data inside your body.
Okay.
So in this one, data is going to send inside the header. So header has certain restrictions. But in this one, it is going to send along with your body. So the body can be as much as size. There is no size restriction as such.
Okay.
Get is not a secured because data is exposed in the URL that we have already seen.
Yeah. Just
Post is secured because data is not exposed on the browser URL. Get request can be bookmarked.
Okay.
You know, right? Bookmark means?
Yes, bookmark. Yeah.
You open a browser and if you
we can
this, I can save this.
Save the link. Okay.
But post request, you cannot bookmark.
Okay, we cannot bookmark the link. Okay.
Post because post when you access a get, it's going to have all the parameters, and if you bookmark it and when you click on next time, with that same parameters, it will go to that URL, right? If it is a post, if the parameters are not there, so how can I bookmark it? Even if you bookmark, it doesn't work out because the next time when you access that URL, it might behave something in a different way because first time it was working in a different, in a proper way because all the parameters are passing properly from the request, right? Post request bookmark doesn't work out as per your expectations. Get request is more efficient and is used more than the post because most of the times we go for the get request, depends on the kind of the operation. Post request is less efficient and is used less than the get. Only with respect to the security perspective and all those kind of areas and the huge amount of data in those areas we'll be going for the post, and rest all of the times we'll be going for the get request.
Yeah, but most of the time get is not secure, right? But why we are using most of the time get?
Security wise, it's not secured, but so within your project, the data will be secured, right? Let's say your project, so nobody cannot enter directly into URL, right? In your project, if you feel the data wise like the limited kind of data, so get works with bit faster than the post.
Okay.
It all depends on the case to case. Clear?
Okay, clear. Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Content type. Have you ever heard the word content type?
No.
The content type is the word itself is telling that the type of the content what you are dealing.
Okay.
Content type is known as the MIME type. MIME. M-I-M-E. Multipurpose internet mail. Multipurpose internet mail extension type. It is a HTTP header. No.
Okay.
Content type is nothing but it's called as a MIME type, multipurpose internet mail extension type. It is part of the HTTP header. Here you are referring header, right? When you send a request through GET, it is part of the header, right? So here header also contains a lot of information. One of the information is like content type. Means whenever the header is sent to a server, it also carries information that what kind of information that it is carrying is. That's the content type is. The content type is one kind of a property for which we are going to tell the server that I am dealing with so and so kind of information. Some of the content types are text plus HTML. This is, let's say if you're dealing with complete images and if you're rendering images and if you're dealing with images, you might be setting with images plus JPG. And if you're dealing with a regular HTML kind of a code, you'll be dealing with you're going to set this value.
Okay.
You are going to inform the server that I am dealing with so and so content type. So in your header object, you are going to set that content type equal to this value. Or if you're dealing with the word object inside that, so you're going to set this value. It depends on, so it tells that the content type tells that what kind of content you are dealing when you are rendering that page. But it's a property that we are going to set at the time of working with the server application.
Okay.
Clear? Just an information to the server.
Okay, just what type of content it's.
What kind of content you are dealing when you are rendering the project. Now, the base for all these things is Servlet. So Servlet is a technology which is used to create web applications which are residing at the server side and generates dynamic pages.
Okay.
So Servlet has various kind of definitions. So it's a technology used for creating web applications. It is an API that provides many interfaces and classes, including documentation, and it's an interface that must be implemented to create any Servlet programming. Okay, it's a web component that is deployed on the server to create a dynamic web pages. So far, like basic for all these things is like, so we are going to do a servlet programming now, means which is called web programming.
Okay.
It's a technology. It's an by technology perspective. If you look at it, servlet is an interface which is provided in Java. So with that interface, you are going to implement in your classes. Okay. In your classes to create any kind of a servlet.
Okay.
Yes, to near somehow. You're saying something?
No, I was not saying anything.
Actually, we have two types of servlet: generic servlet and HTTP servlet.
Okay.
The difference is that generic servlet can be used by any kind of a protocol. Means using any protocol, you can communicate to generic servlet. Means you can send to HTTP, you can send to FTP, and you can send any kind of request to generic servlet. Means generic servlet is open for accepting request from any kind of a protocol.
Okay.
Let's say accepting request from any kind of protocol means HTTP on something is one request. The same way FTP, if you're doing that also you can request. The next one is for HTTP servlet. The name itself is clearly telling that this servlet is meant only for the HTTP request. Means you can communicate to this servlet only through HTTP protocol. Other protocols you cannot talk to this servlet.
Okay.
This is the main difference. Each has the various methods: init, service, destroy. I'll discuss about those methods. Init, doGet. These are called lifecycle methods. Okay. For generic servlet, so these are the lifecycle methods, and for HTTP servlet, these are the lifecycle methods. Okay.
Okay.
Basically, what exactly the lifecycle is? Lifecycle means so you already seen the different thread lifecycle and all those things, right? The same way, from beginning to ending, how the request flows and what are the stages it passes, right? So when init is a method which is going to be called for the first time when you access the servlet. For the first time when you access the servlet, then only init method will be called.
Okay.
Which method is going to be called when you are done with that accessing that completely accessing that request, destroy method is going to be called.
Okay.
So once again, if you access the same link once again, then only service is going to be called. Init is not going to be called. Service and followed by the destroy.
Okay. If we call again the
same link, so service is going to be called because init might is to something to perform an initialization. So initialization when it has to happen only for the first time, right?
Yeah.
What happens initialization? When I say initialization, it meant for one time task. So that's why the method was called only for the first time when you access that servlet for the first time. Okay, there are not it will not execute the logic which is there inside. There are directly go to the service method, execute the logic. Once it is done, it goes to the next stage. That is in the case of generic servlet. So in case of generic servlet, so we have basic two types of request methods we have seen, right? Method attach and post. When you give a request using a get, or when you give a request using a post, in both the cases, it will come to the same method.
Okay.
So from your browser, you can send a request using get or post. You know, right? How to send a request using get or post. Only thing method equal to you have to check. Right?
Yeah.
Both the ways, when you send a request to servlet, so it comes to the service method only.
Okay.
But in the case of HTTP servlet, the life cycle is same, init and destroy these two. But here we have two methods, doGet and doPost. So means they have created separate methods for the request type. Based on the request that you send, so that method directly invoked. So here, for all the types, it is going to execute same method. But here, depends on the type, they have given us a multiple methods which are going to be available for direct processing. Okay,
Okay.
got the difference? Now I'll show you with an example for the life cycle, then you'll be more clear rather than until now it's complete theory, right? Let me show you with an example. Creating servlet is very simple. Just create a package name. So under SRCL, I'm doing everything now. Right click. Earlier we are just choosing the class, right? Now we need to choose a servlet. So here it's asking the class name is servlet is also physically a Java file, right? Means it has extending something. That's all.
Okay.
You can give any name. So you have two servlets, right? We'll be working with both. So here, so this is the window. It has given a lot of options. Here, superclass it has given. So superclass means what? Parent class. So that means when you are creating a servlet, it is creating by default with a parent class as HTTP. So but we want the generic servlet, right?
Okay.
The generic servlet name here, or else you can search for generic servlet here. So we are not getting anything because this is the first time we are working with the servlet programming in this Eclipse, right? So we set the two jar files, servlet related jar files into your Eclipse. Then only you can access these options.
Okay, so we need to
So we are
copy that
Tomcat,
jar.
yeah, Tomcat we are already having those jar files. Just need to refer those jar files here. I'm selecting the web project. Right click. It is build path. Those are external, right?
Yes.
So see files. That's a Tomcat. Click called. These are the two jar files. Just PHP, Servlet API. Open. These are the two jar files that are selected. That's all. Now proceed with the same, repeat the same option. Right. Here you can type the package generic servlet class name path if you know the complete package. Otherwise, you can search. Now you should be getting the options of it. Right? Now we are getting right. Earlier we are getting different. If you look at it, when I select, it is showing that the program file opportunity means from this jar file it is loading this one, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Good. I got right. If you do not know the package name, so we might prefer the browse option. Once you are comfortable with that, then directly you can type this option. The thing is that if it is HTTP, you will be having a after servlet http.http servlet. That's all. So only thing we have given the name and the superclass. Rest everything the default one we have left as is. The next option. Leave everything as is. We'll discuss about the initialization parameters later.
Okay.
Init and just to enable it. So then finish. You're done with first program now. Complete structure it's going to generate for you. It's going to generate all the methods and everything. Only thing you want to write something inside it. The class generic servlet demo extend generic servlet, right? Superclass we have chosen, right?
Oh yeah.
With that name. the construct it has created. This code completely generated. So,
Okay, it's done automatic.
So it's done automatically.
Yeah.
Init method, service method, and the desktop method, right? Because we are dealing with the generic servlet, so these are three methods we have seen, right? Right?
Okay.
Because we are just seeing the life cycle, I'll just add a system of statements in these three methods to show you that when and each method is executing.
Okay.
I just added three statements in the three methods to show you that which method is executing when we are repeating actions. Right? And also select the server. Please add or remove. If you click on the add or remove, you'll be seeing the same old screen. I told you that.
Yes.
In case if you are not mapping this project at the time of creating the server, you can do now using this option.
Okay.
Just an alternate option that is given. Because like most of the times, you may after creating a server, we might create a project. In the previous case, we have created a project and then we have created the server, hence it was showing. But if you are doing the reverse option, it will not show the project, right? So you need to use this option to add your project to server. So it's already added to server. So what you have to do, just right click or click on start or else the shortcut here. This is going to start your server. Now, everything can see in the console now. If there are no issues, it will start the server, otherwise it might fail.
Okay.
All these are not errors, though those are red color. Those are informative you see on the left side. So server startup is showed the milliseconds. That means server started successfully.
Okay.
So if you're not getting this message, you might get some error somewhere here.
So how can we? Okay.
So
Where is the error?
error here. We'll be facing errors in down the line anyway.
Okay.
So if you don't know how to access it directly, and that's for the first step. I'm selecting Java class. For the first time, because you don't know the URL, right? This is how you are going to access it. So what happened when I run my Java class in the Eclipse? So directly it has opened a small browser inside my Eclipse. Right? It has. I'm executing this. I'm just copying that URL. So now, how many times we are given a request? In Eclipse, we have sent one request, and by opening a browser in the external side, I have sent one more request, right?
Okay.
The first time init executing, service is executing. So service is executing once again to 10. Now I'm going to refresh it. Service is executing. Means later onwards, every time whenever you give a request, it's going to call the service method is getting executed because it will execute this method. It will not execute this method.
Okay.
Observe? Means init is meant for initialization, right? Initialization means what? You might open a database connection or you might open a file. Those things I do not want again and again because once the servlet is loaded into the server, it will be available forever until the server is stopped. So the servlet once the servlet is loaded in the server, it will be available forever until you stop the server.
Okay.
Once it is available, So it's obviously whatever it was loaded in the previous, for the first time, all the files and connection, it will be available, right? To close manually using programming. So the init method is not required to execute again and again. So hence
Okay.
the init method is, as per the design itself, like it will execute only once for the first time. So if we observe, destroy method is never called. So init is called and service is calling again and again, but destroy wasn't called.
Okay.
Destroy will happen only when you feel that servlet you would like to destroy the servlet. Right now I do not want to destroy my servlet because still I am accessing and I am working with my servlet, right? So when you stop the server, let's say right click stop, or else you can use this shortcut. So that's it. So now you have stopped the server. So whatever the servlet which are loaded in the server, everything will be destroyed. Means if the server is not there, where the servlet will be existing, right? Obviously everything will be destroyed, right?
Okay. Once server is stopped, the servlet will be destroyed automatically.
Anything as part of that server will be destroyed. If you expand the servlet console, the destroy is executing. Who is executed this one? Tomcat itself. It is as part of the stopping mechanism. It identifies that there is a destroy method is configured in the servlet, so it's going to destroy. So what exactly destroy contains? The name is destroy. Destroy means this method is meant for cleanup activities.
Oh, cleanup. Okay.
Init is for loading connection and opening file and all those things. It's one time.
Okay.
The same way, destroy is also only one time. So for maintaining a cleanup activities, you might close the connection, you might close the file, and you do a lot. What are the things which you feel that all are open, you can release all those things in the destroy.
Yeah.
So init and destroy is called only once, and service is a method it's going to call again and again whenever you hit that servlet. Let me start the server once again to show you the same option. Once we are starting. Right now the servlet is not available, right? To access it, you will get an error. So it is called service is executing. And then give me a request once again. The service is executing, right?
Okay.
And then when I start the server, it's going to remove it from my stop it. You haven't done all the activities, right? If you remember.
I didn't get you.
Let me show you. I given a request. Server is executing. Give it one more time. Right? Now I'm going to stop my server. In the previous case, I did not say the distributor because it was stopped here. So
Yeah.
I expected these things to be loaded. Actually, it was not loaded properly, it seems.
Okay. Okay.
Destroy method. So init and destroy is going to be called only once. But the
So
is going to be called again and again for each and every operation that you are going to perform. Just tell me now.
okay. Okay. Once we stop the server only, then only.
Then only. So when you stop the server, so where the servlet is going to be part of it, servlet is going to be part of server. When I stopping the server, obviously servlet cannot exist, right? Without
then only it gets destroyed.
it gets destroyed. So not only this servlet, all the servlets which are loaded in that server are going to be destroyed. All the servlets, it goes to each and every servlet, sees that is there any destroy, so it will execute the destroy method, and then servlet will be destroyed permanently.
Oh, just now you said something. It is not executed properly. That's why it's got destroyed. You said something.
It was earlier. If you look at it, these things were not appeared on
Yeah.
the screen, right? It was not loaded properly, so it was stopped here. So I was expecting destroy method. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just showed you the same scenario from the beginning.
Okay.
Not clear?
Okay. Clear.
The same thing I will show the folder. I'm trying to show you the method equal to get and post difference. So now how you are calling? How you are calling? You are calling directly Servlet, right?
Oh yeah.
Now what I'm going to show. So here you cannot very directly call a Servlet. By default, it goes to the get style.
Okay.
So if you want to see the difference between the get and post, so now I'll be. That's where like I have introduced one HTML page to see the difference. So here earlier we were doing C colon whatever wherever you have HTML, that full path is to execute, right? Now
Yeah.
so http colon localhost // the project name, and I just give the file name here. So
File name.
after the project name, whatever the file name give, with this name it searches internally as a web content. So in web content I created the same file name.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you look at it, so again method equal to get and the action equal to show URL. So when now I submit something, it goes to that particular Servlet. See that? And
Okay.
from your HTML page, you have given a request to Servlet now. So what happens in the console? When you give a request to Servlet, what we know, right? It is going to be called and server is going to be called. If you give a request once again, only service is going to be called. Right?
Okay.
For the first time. So when I give, so in the both the case, you're able to see the parameters here, right? Because it's method equal to guest. When I say method equal to post, I'll just modify the HTML. Clear this part. There is no parameter seen here, but service is executed. Service is executing. Observe means what I am trying to show here is whether you give a request as method equal to get or post, it will execute this method. Because we are taking generic Servlet. Remember, generic Servlet has service method which has, irrespective of the request, every time it goes, it will call the service method for performing actual logic. So inside your service method, you are going to write all your logic.
Okay.
Here, we just see the generic Servlet lifecycle and how the method flow happens from the regular, like when you give a request directly in the browser, or when you give a request using a HTML page, and from there. Clear?
Clear.
We'll be seeing in the generic Servlet instead of Servlet later. Any confusion and any doubts as part of this?
No.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Arthur. So tomorrow we'll be seeing the life cycle for HTTP. Okay, it's almost
Okay.
it. Only thing is like, if when you say get method equal to get, it call this method. When you say method equal to post, it will call this method. But I'll show you with an example anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Arthur. We'll meet once again tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.